State Wildcats. They're the 3 seed, and the 6 seed Horned Frogs are wearing their road purples. These two teams split the regular season series, both teams winning and winning comfortably on their home floors. We are underway, and Damian Baugh for TCU controls the opening tip.
I think I'm going to change my alarm clock to one shining moment.
This time of year, we all should. Here's Miles. Baugh, one of the real underrated studs in this league. Miles gets fouled on the jump shot attempt by big man Naquan Tomlin.
And you made the point about Damian Baugh. He really runs their offense, averaging over 8 assists a game in their last 5, Rich. And what it does is allows Miles to be off the ball a little bit more. And there, a nice little set play to run Miles to that little mid-post area, facing up, had that mismatch against Tomlin.
Miles, preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, but then he went and missed essentially 5 straight games, and the team really struggled without him.
They did. They needed his points. I mean, first and foremost, start there, and then, you know, he gives him another ball handler. You know, there's a lot on balls. How about 2 missed free throws?
A look at the Kansas State lineup, and this is a team that basically Jerome Tang cobbled together. Only 2 returning players, but Keontae Johnson has been a huge story this year, and Desi Sills missed the regular season finale. He's back in the starting lineup.
Yeah, and a guy who had come off their bench all year, and Jerome Tang telling us, look, we need his points. We need him in the lineup, playing as many minutes as he can give us.
Johnson hits the deck, and they're going to whistle Emmanuel Miller for the foul. Emmanuel Miller, a constant for Jamie Dixon in the Horned Frogs starting lineup. But like you said, the engine for the Frogs is #1 in purple, Mike Miles.
This game today is about the paint. Who can score in the paint? 54 points for TCU in the paint in the first matchup. Jerome Tang telling us yesterday, we have got to get to the rim. We've got to keep them out of our paint, and we cannot turn the basketball over. Both these teams, the 2 fastest tempos in the Big 12.
Yeah, Jerome Tang's Wildcats committed 20 turnovers in that first meeting. That was in Fort Worth that they lost. Here's Marquise Noel. We'll have much more on him tonight. Here's Baugh. Best fast break team in the nation. But it's pinned by Sills. My goodness. Cam Carter at the other end. No. And you could expect this kind of pace all night long. Kick ball, says Jerry Pollard.
Yeah, you said it. These 2 teams play again at the 2 fastest tempos in the Big 12. They are very tough off of turnovers. But how about that? I mean, this is postseason basketball. Those extra effort plays, give me that. What a play from Desi Sills.
One of the real veterans that Jerome Tang recruited to transfer in here. That one partially blocked. Here's Keontae Johnson. Noel gives it up, and Tomlin cashes in.
When Noel drives, he is driving to pass. Because of his size or lack thereof, he's not great at finishing over length, but so many teams help up on him, and that's when you get those drop-offs.
And here comes Keontae Johnson. Man, he is a load, and he's got his first bucket of the night. Averaging 20.5 points a game in his last 4, Keontae Johnson, 11 in white. Miles, all alone. Chuck O'Bannon with the bucket.
You know, those extra effort kind of offensive plays, particularly around the rim, are going to be big tonight. Big offensive rebound from a guy in Chuck O'Bannon, who really doesn't give him a whole lot of offensive scoring.
There's Noel. Tops in the Big 12 in assists, and he's got another one there. Things clicking early for the K-State offense.
Yeah, sure. A guy in Desi Sills who has not shot a good percentage from 3. Only 24% on the season from there. That's a big early one from him.
Errant pass picked off. Here's Noel chasing it down. Air ball on that jump shot. And a fast break attempt blocked again by Sills. Johnson, shot fake, 3. And Xavier Cork grabs it for TCU. Miles, too strong off the window. Noel orchestrates. Nice pass inside Tomlin.
You can't jog back. You have got to get back and set your defense because Kansas State is on the attack. They get a 2-on-1 and a nice drop off by Keontae Johnson.
Ball, no. Loose ball, fought for it out of bounds. And Chance Moore says it's going to stay TCU basketball. Jamie Dixon returning to his alma mater 7 years ago. And he's got the best winning percentage in his last 9 years as a head coach this season with TCU. They changed the call now. It's going to be Kansas State basketball. Four minutes gone by. TCU's only managed 1 bucket. Look at that feed. Noel orchestrating.
That was a big overturned call on the other end because you end up taking a possession away for TCU and you get 2 on the other end.
Here's O'Bannon, rises up, knocks it down. That would be bonus offense from Jamie Dixon if Chuck O'Bannon continues. That ball out of bounds. It'll stay K-State basketball, but the Cats are off to a rousing start. 11-5 over TCU with 15:09 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
lot of attacks at the rim. We just haven't converted. Main thing is shot fake. We kind of got a little soft, to be honest with you, right? We're tougher than that, right? Hey, we've gotten good stuff. Damien made some good passes. Mike some good passes, all right? We made good reads, all right? We just didn't finish.
Yeah, I love that. This is not a game for the faint of heart. You cannot play this game in a tuxedo tonight. You got to put on your fatigues. And when you bring that ball to the basket, you got to expect resistance. These are two grizzled, old teams. There is this, I think Jamie Dixon hits it right on the head. You cannot be soft in this game tonight.
Yeah, Jamie Dixon's club, the most production back this season of any power conference school. You can make the argument this is the most anticipated season for TCU basketball in decades. 10 on the shot clock. Johnson in and out. And Chuck O'Bannon's been an energy giver for him so far. Miles, like a blur.
And look at this. I mean, those are the kind of plays, you know, the kind of turnarounds in games. I mean, the explosion. How about from one end to the other? I mean, he hits that first, that nitro, right to the rim in the open floor, and then a quick turnover just on a non-communication between Johnson and Noel.
Marquise Noel, I know they don't give out awards for Big 12 Player of the Year runner-up, but he probably was that. The one fly in the ointment for him is the turnovers. There's another TCU bucket. And out of the timeout, they get back-to-back buckets, and they're right back in it. There's Noel. Jitterbugs his way into the paint and gets the float game going.
He's really good at snaking it in there. And that's the shot he's got to take when he gets into the paint. That high floater.
O'Bannon off on the three. Jacoby Coles with the offensive rebound. Shahade Wells had a foot on the line. That's a two-pointer for 13 in purple.
And a nice extension of the possession by Jacoby Coles, a guy who has given them such good minutes in the absence of Lampkin.
Now a little mismatch with Peavy guarding Noel. Eight to shoot. Here's Ish Massoud. He's a three-point sniper inside two-point range. Misses. It goes out of bounds. It'll be Kansas State basketball still.
Yeah, I thought that was a two live. Hard to tell because it's that right foot. Hard to tell from that angle.
That
close.
Is really close. Closer than it looked when it was live. Now Bebe Igiola, the big man, is in, and he tumbles into the TCU bench.
He got bailed out there. They called a foul on Jacoby Coles. You get lucky if you're Kansas State. Not real good execution on the under out of bounds.
And now Suleiman Doumbia will check in. Just 4 points in 9 Big 12 games. But again, no Eddie Lampkin, so Jamie Dixon going deeper into his bench of big men. Sills directing traffic. 5 on the shot clock. Lefty 3, short. And a big rebound by Miller. TCU could tie or take the lead with a bucket. Chased down by Miller. Now Miller lines it up and knocks it down.
He's so tough. He gives you what he has, man. There are some rough edges to his game, but you cannot question his toughness. He's so active.
Honorable mention all Big 12 this year. And TCU loves it. We got a tie ball game.
Yeah, that's really nice job sliding your feet by Damian Ball right there.
Well, he just earned himself a pair of socks, because when you take a charge for TCU, Jamie Dixon lets you pick out of a box back in the locker room of all these fancy socks. Charge socks, that's what you get.
That's pretty good. I know Spatola's got good sock game.
Love socks.
Might want to dip into that box.
I don't take chargers for them, though. I'd rather pay for them.
Well, we do also know that they hand out a BTF award after every game, a big tough frog. We'll see who gets that tonight. Ooh. And look at Damian Ball throwing it right off the backside of Desi Sills. There's the Big Tough Frogman Award. It's created a few years ago, and I believe at last check Mike Miles was the leader in the clubhouse this season. No sooner do I say it than we see it. Thanks for making me look smart.
And that's not easy.
No. Appearances are everything. Pulling his way to the basket, but coming up empty.
It is physical in there, and Igiola switched on to Miles.
Carter blocked out of bounds by Peavy. It's a block party in KC. 11:48 to go, tie ball game, 13 apiece.
I believe that the fan base of Kansas State that are as passionate about the university as I am.
This is not about who we just beat. This is about us winning.
How do you not run up there? How do you not join in with them and celebrate with them? I don't want this to end because of how much fun it is.
That scene in Manhattan when they beat Kansas was unbelievable. Him asking for the mic, trying to tell their fans, we want you to come out and cheer for us because you love us, not because you hate the opponent. And he has completely changed the atmosphere there in the Little Apple. But it's interesting, when they were looking for a head coach, it was Marquise Noel who sent a text to their athletic director, Gene Taylor. It said, we need Jerome Tang. Marquise's brother had been looking around at coaches, and he noticed that no one ever had a bad thing to say about Jerome Tang. How during huddles, when he was at Baylor with Scott Drew, he would take over the first minute, minute and a half. And he sent a text to A.D. Taylor, said, we want Tang, and they got him. Some people pay for search firms. Marquise Noel, his own search firm, finding him.
Well, Jerome Tang, all he's done is lead these K-State Wildcats to 9 quad 1 wins. And Marquise Noel has a hand or two in that as well.
You cannot be surprised when he takes those shots. He has unlimited range, and he's making almost 3 threes a game.
They call him Logo Lillard in the NBA. There's Logo Noel in college hoops. Nine minutes gone by. Entertaining first half already. Here's Coles. Elbow jumper, no good. And Marquise Noel already with 5 points and 3 dimes in his 8 minutes played. Ooh. Oh, there you go. A no-look to Bebe.
Oh, and he got him late, but he knew he was there, and he knew he was wide open. Not played well on the backside by TCU. But that's the attention that Marquise Noel draws off of ball screens.
Marquise Noel has 7 double-doubles this season. Left alone, Miles for 3. Answer.
These 2 guards are so talented.
Another bounce pass. This time Bebe couldn't handle it. And here comes the best break team ever. And that's the 3rd block by Desi Sills in transition.
Desi Sills, my word. Here's that no look by Marquise Noel. Not played well by TCU. And then here's that 3. How is Mike Miles that wide open? The penetration from Micah Peavy, a big part of that. And then how about the impact? Desi Sills, all 3 of these blocks on the break. That's big time stuff.
Miles again, catch and shoot. Look out, he's got 10.
The TCU is going to be obviously very aggressive out of ball screens with Noel. They are trapping it and staying with the trap, which means when he gets it out of there, you've got an advantage on the backside. You got to be able to finish there if you're Cam Carter. You have a numbers advantage. Nice play.
And Sills is really bringing the energy tonight.
Tell you what, he did not play, as you said, Rich, in their season finale at West Virginia. He has been shot out of a cannon, making up for lost time in this game. His energy's been great. Certainly his defensive energy. Made a 3 earlier in this game and a nice under out of bounds design there.
Sills knocks down the first. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. A must-have for all Big 12 fans. Baseball and softball, 200 games available, along with the early rounds of both conference tournaments. Plus, it's the home for over 600 live events and original content. If you're a Big 12 fan, you got to have it. Sign up at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now. A 20-19 Kansas State lead. The winner faces Texas in the semifinals tomorrow. Baugh takes it himself, too strong off the window.
You know, they camped Mike Miles in the corner, and he never touched the ball. They're never able to get it to him.
Deep three. Way off that time. Miles hangs and gets fouled. That's going to go on Tyke Green, his first. Deserving of all the preseason praise that he got, Mike Miles Jr., the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, now a finalist for the John R. Wooden Award.
And I think the best thing about Mike Miles Jr. came in with a big reputation, had an outstanding freshman season, but in this era of guys leaving to go to other schools, the fact that he has stayed the course here, he has bought all into TCU, he's when you're one of their best players in the history of that program when it's all said and done.
He scored the last 8 to give TCU a 1-point lead. Now 10 to shoot for the Cats. Three on the clock. Noel's got to go. He does. And was looking for a foul but got none. Shot clock violation.
And he's begging for a call. You're not going to get that in this game. That was well defended. And you're getting into the action too late. And so that's why when you come off there, TCU's just switching that. And you're forced to pull up from very, very deep.
Top to bottom, this league is so tough defensively, but you could put TCU right up there with the best of them. Miller, no. Rebound, Gasson. Masood. That's his specialty.
It sure is. And a nice job relocating. There was no block charge call, which it's hard to understand why there wasn't. But after bodies fell on the ground, he ended up back in the corner.
You said it, Chris. No tuxedos tonight. And a foul on that jump shot. The fans love it. The players love it. This is what you get up for. This is March.
Michael Leaves here with your studio update in the ACC. Tom Crean, Clemson up on NC State.
P.J. Hall with a three right here. They've got to get out and guard him. He's already got 3 threes this early in the game.
And over on the West Coast, Pac-12 action, Steve Wojciechowski, Stanford and Arizona.
Remember the last time these two teams played, Stanford won. They have 8 threes. Arizona's got to tighten up the defense.
Back to you guys in Big 12.
All right, thank you, Michael. Take a look at that Pac-12 tournament bracket way out west. And you'll see that UCLA is certainly the prohibitive favorite, but they were just talking about Arizona Stanford. That Arizona team is a top quality team as well.
They are one of the biggest teams in the country. Outstanding front line, and Azuolas Tubelis has been a first team All-American type of player this year.
He wouldn't mind playing for this TCU team. Gets out and runs the floor better than almost any big man I've seen this year.
I'm sure Jamie Dixon would have him.
Yes. Hello, transfer portal. O'Bannon gets the first. And 2 for 2 for Chuck O'Bannon, who was a McDonald's All-American, Chris, 6 years ago. Played with DeAndre Ayton and Trae Young in that All-Star game. Here's a 3. And that's usually automatic for Noel. O'Bannon, no. And Johnson the rebound. Nice look up ahead. Igiola.
Really nice.
And Sills gets mugged and will go to the line.
And a really nice heads-up fill of the lane by Desi Sills. I mean, he comes from half court. He realizes that Igiola's in trouble. And really good composure by Igiola to just catch it, possess it, keep his balance, and then find Sills cutting to the basket. How many extra effort type of plays has Desi Sills made in this first half?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. Let's take a look at what Desi Sills has done defensively, Chris.
I mean, these are big-time blocks. I mean, look at this against an athlete in Emmanuel Miller and another athlete. 2 of the best athletes in this league, Micah Peavy and Emmanuel Miller. And then he goes to Kembe Mutombo.
Desi Sills playing in his 157th career game.
24 years old.
Bounce pass, Cork. Tied again at 25. See how long Jamie Dixon keeps Mike Miles on the bench. Sills lost it that time. Peavy leads the break. And another block by Desi. Peavy, silence for 3.
And that's from a guy who does not take or make many threes. But how about the block again from Sills? These are violent blocks.
And that foul's going to go on Xavier Cork.
I mean, there's a violence to these blocks. It's wearing out the backboard.
And Desi Sills goes to the bench. That man deserves a breather.
Another really good find out of the portal. Jerome Tang crushed the portal.
10 on the shot clock. Here's Keontae Johnson, just 2 points tonight, now 4.
And that guy right there was like an 8th round pick out of the portal. Showed up 2 days before school started. You know, for obvious reasons, we know his story. And I mean, what a find, what a take to get him.
And we have a timeout on the floor. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. Be back. 5:18 to go in the first half. Alongside Chris Spatola, Chris Button, Rich Hollenberg on hand. Here's Keontae Johnson's last bucket, and it's easy to forget that he was arguably the biggest story in college basketball this comeback year.
Yeah, I was talking to him about a month ago because to me, the biggest difference between Keontae Johnson at Florida and at Kansas State is he's got an edge to him at Kansas State that he didn't have at Florida. He was always talented. And I asked him about that, and he said, I play every minute like it's my last. I mean, he almost died. He's won the life lottery, and he plays like that.
Peavy, not this time for three. Chris Button with more on Keontae.
And one of the reasons that he chose Kansas State is because when Jerome Tang was at Baylor, they had been through incidents like this with a couple players, so they knew that they would have access to medical staff that was available to him had he needed to go through this again. But you talk to the players that are on his team, and they think, guys, sometimes I'm getting tired, and then I look over, I see what this guy has done, and I realize, yeah, I'm not so tired anymore.
Yeah, Luke Sauber there, trainer and the strength coach that they have. I mean, they are just, and have been, wowed by Keontae Johnson from the day he stepped foot on campus in Manhattan. And you were at that game in Tallahassee when he collapsed on the floor virtually right in front of you.
Incredibly scary, obviously. You never imagined, he left the floor. As Jacoby Coles finishes underneath there, he left the floor conscious, which was the difference between he and DeMar Hamlin. But you never expected he would come back and play the game of basketball, certainly at the level that he has.
Right now, TCU leads Jerome Tang's Cats by 3. It's their largest lead of the game. This one has been end line to end line, and a lot of fun to watch. 4:20 to go in the first half. It's the number 3 seed Cats and the number 6 seed Frogs. Miles, blow by.
And these turnovers for Kansas State are starting to mount. And that was one of the things Jerome Tang told us yesterday. We cannot turn the basketball over. TCU will make you pay.
Sills. And that's an offensive foul called.
And another pair of socks going out to a TCU player.
Spatola will never forget that story by Chris Button. A 5-point TCU lead with 3:56 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business.
Kevin and Fran coming up on the All-State Halftime Report. We'll show you how Kansas advanced without head coach Bill Self, plus the fate of North Carolina determined. Fran, sometimes you got to just say the skill and athleticism in these games are off the charts.
East Coast guy, welcome to the Great Plains, man. This is, you love basketball. It doesn't get any tougher and more intense than this.
Incredible talent on display here between TCU and Kansas State. A treat in this first half, Rich Hollenberg.
All right, we'll see you at halftime, KC and Fran. And Chris Spatola, if there's one daunting number that Jerome Tang had probably talked to his team about in that huddle, it's that K-State has already committed 10 turnovers and TCU has cashed in to the tune of 12 points off those turnovers.
They have. It's kind of sparked Mike Miles in this half, and honestly, Desi Sills has saved 4 layups with his rim protection on the fast break. That's the one thing with TCU. Both these teams, you cannot turn it over because they turn it from one end to the other very quickly.
Chris, what can you add?
Well, they discussed turnovers, but they also discussed a dedication to rebounding and on the offensive end being able to get more ball movement. He also told us, guys, there's so much more basketball to play, so keep your heads up. It's something that he's talked to his coaches about before. He says, fix your face. He doesn't want your head down. Move on to the next one. Don't show me by your face how upset you are. I shouldn't know your emotion based on looking at your face.
Motivation. Here's Sills. Good on both ends of the floor for K-State tonight. Cam Carter, bounce pass, Johnson. Back out to Carter for 3. Johnson kept it alive, but TCU comes away with it. Now Rondell Walker seeing his first action, 11 in purple.
No, you got to throw it. You got to be able to get it to Jacoby Coles there.
Miller from the wing.
Jacoby Coles had Marquise Noel, and they looked at him twice and ended up reversing a basketball. And how about that 3 from Emmanuel Miller? Not really what he does.
Emmanuel Miller had 23 points the first time these two teams played. He's got 5 tonight. Off the head and shoulder fake. Keontae Johnson has 6.
Very nice shot fake, on balance. He is starting to shoot the ball much, much better, more consistently.
Coles passed up the 3 and made a nice pass to Shahade Wells.
Coles is such a good face-up player, very skilled, and a really good passer.
Carter. And now bodies hit the deck again.
Desi Sills has been everywhere.
And Mike Miles a little slow to get up, and a great show of sportsmanship. Desi Sills coming over and dapping up Mike Miles.
You know, I think he left Mike Miles enough room, but the defender has to leave the offensive player enough room to catch that in turn. But he certainly traveled.
That turnover just the 3rd for Jamie Dixon's Horned Frogs. Doing a good job of valuing the basketball tonight. 10 to shoot. Here's Masood. Oh, and it gets pinned between the backboard and the rim, and that's a turnover. Oh, it's a jump ball, so possession arrow will stay this way.
How about the pass, though, from Noel? I mean, he will find you if you just stay disciplined and keep your spacing. And then a little extra stick 'em on that basketball.
We step aside for a quick 30 with 1:33 left in an entertaining first half. Kansas State got off to a rousing start in front of a partial crowd here in Kansas City, but it's the TCU Horned Frogs with an 8-point lead and 1:33 to go. Rich Hollenberg, Chris Spatola, Chris Budden on hand. The final quarterfinal of the Big 12 championship inside T-Mobile Center. One semifinal is set. Iowa State, Kansas, and Texas awaits the winner of this game. And that foul is going to go on Chuck O'Bannon away from the basketball. Masood takes it himself and gets it to go.
Very nice. They run that under out of bounds stuff, most of their stuff out of that box set where they pop Masood.
Peavy looking for his shot tonight. 2-possession ball game, a minute to go in the first half. Noel, no. And he watches from the deck as another whistle is blown. Well, it's certainly a physical game, a hard-fought game, and a fast-paced game, but Kansas State has just entered the bonus.
It was a half of runs. You know, Kansas State jumped out early, got off to a good start. And it was really Mike Miles who started to get it going. And the turnovers from Kansas State really helping to facilitate that.
There's Tyke Green. 1 for 2 from the free throw line for Green.
And TCU, all told, has done a nice job of Marquise Noel. You know, they've really made life. He's had to work. They bottled him up, especially off those ball screens, that top middle third ball screen.
Sills checking Miles. Ten on the clock. Spin move. Miller lost it on the way up. Loose ball. Green on the deck. And it's saved by Baugh. 20 seconds to go in the half.
Last shot. Keontae Johnson looks like he took a shot. He's got a towel up around his head. It's been that kind of a half, Rich. Incredibly physical.
He just keeps shaking his head like, no, 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 I could go in. Let me back in. Big 12 basketball. So Keontae Johnson will go to the locker room with 18.2 seconds to go. And here's a look at what happened. Ooh, an inadvertent elbow from Emmanuel Miller.
And Johnson gets pushed from behind by Cork, kind of into that elbow. And it was Miller who ended up getting the possession back, getting a steal or tipping it to Damian Ball.
And so now the teams will reconvene under the TCU basket. 18.2 to go in the half. TCU with a 5-point lead and the basketball. And It's last shot time for the Frogs. With 5 to go, Miles. It was online, but short. And now there's 2.1 left, and it's going to stay Horned Frogs ball. Miles, the inbounds. Step back. Good if it goes, but it's short for Chuck O'Bannon. And a tightly contested first half with a semifinal berth on the line.
Points, we're off turnovers and second chance points. Also, watch Keontae Johnson coming out of the locker room. He is back out here. There's a couple bandages over that left eyebrow where he took an elbow.
Cut me, Mick. That's what Keontae Johnson says as we enter the second half. Chris Spatola warned us. No weakies in here. Here's Kansas State. Jumped out to an 11-2 lead, but TCU wrested away control the rest of the first half. Noel. Miller got a piece, but Johnson, Johnny on the spot.
To be clear, I didn't use the word weakies.
No, I did.
But you cannot play this game in a tuxedo. That is for sure. His penetration, Rich. He is such a burst. He's such an athlete. And he's really good either hand. You know, he's as good going left as he is right. Just a dynamic guard and puts a lot of pressure on the second level of this defense.
Mike Miles led all scorers in the first half with 12. Now he has a baker's dozen. And you think back to when he first got hurt. Hyperextended that knee. I believe it was in the Mississippi State game. And he only played like 5 minutes. They went 1-4 without him. A totally different team without Mike Miles, but now he's back at full strength. He's got 14, and the lead is 5. Tomlin. Naquan Tomlin got fouled. That's going to be on Damian Baugh, who had a quiet first half.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, Rich. We talked about how dynamic these teams are in transition. Both these teams are top 25 defensive teams. I mean, they really get after it.
Johnson, short on that jumper. #1 fast break team in the nation. Count it, Damian Baugh. Noel lost it, turned it over, but they call Emmanuel Miller for the travel.
And TCU has been especially good with Marquise Noel in ball screens. They've been hyper aggressive, and if you can get length, particularly two guys with length on Noel in those ball screens, that's the one area where he has a hard time seeing up, over, and around. You've got to get the ball out of his hands.
Tomlin, the big man, for 3.
Only his 8th in conference play. Not what he does, but a big shot there.
And that brings this Wildcat crowd to life. Tomlin snares the rebound. Chance to make it a one-possession ball game. Here's Desi Sills. Out to Johnson. All alone for 3. Miles lost it. 3 on the clock. Wow. And a foul with the shot clock winding down.
Frenetic. And that 3 ball is an ultimate equalizer. A little pick and pop action here. Actually, it wasn't a pick and pop. He refused the screen, and a nice job popping back by Naquan Tomlin. And then a nice job drawing help off of that penetration by Desi Sills. And Keontae Johnson feeling it from that corner.
Kansas State was just 3 of 13 from beyond the arc in the first half. Chris, they've already got 2 in this second half. And now Damian Baugh goes to the bench. He's smiling, not in pain, but a little blood drawn. Welcome to the Big 12.
You and I learned about a week ago that the horned frog, its defense mechanism is to spit blood.
Yes.
And that's why you see the red on the swoosh there on Chuck O'Bannon. That's why there is a little bit of red in the TCU color scheme.
Good point. And that gave us a whole new respect of the horned frog and its like. There's the red Nike swoosh. They have some red going down the sides of their uniforms as well. And O'Bannon. Four-point game, 3 minutes gone by in the second half. The winner faces 2-seed Texas in the Big 12 Conference semifinals. And that foul on Emmanuel Miller. So Keontae Johnson and Emmanuel Miller, 2 big dudes on either side of the floor, picking up 2 quick fouls in the second half.
And 2 competitors who take that matchup personally.
Here's Johnson, checked by Miller. Johnson hits the deck, and they call a jump ball.
Emmanuel Miller, he pulled the chair. He wasn't going to be bowled over. And sometimes Keontae Johnson plays the bully when he's driving that ball to the basket. And Emmanuel Miller just let his momentum take him to the ground.
Keontae averaged 16 against these Frogs in the 2 times they played earlier this year. .12 on the shot clock. Now Noel. Nice bounce pass. And Sills can't finish, but a foul is called. That's going to be on Mike Miles, his first.
Kansas State players have gotten so used to playing behind the defense. You cannot help up on Noel. And you certainly don't have to overhelp. If somebody's got him pinned in, you've got to force him to take that shot over length. But those other K-State guys have done a nice job playing behind the defense, playing off of Marquise Noel penetration.
Miles looks like a heavyweight fighter already in round number 9.
That's the thing about these tournament formats. You got to turn around and strap it up again tomorrow. And a game like this, with how this has gone, this has been, I'm telling you, Sweet 16 vibes in this game tonight.
Damian Baugh. What a finish! Emmanuel Miller.
And there's a lot of smack being talked to. Emmanuel Miller, Keontae Johnson. Keontae's not even in the game. He's at the scorer's table. It's a big-time follow. It's a really nice drive-by ball. And that is just a physical specimen, Emmanuel Miller. And as he was running back down, Keontae Johnson was coming back to the scorer's table, and they started jawing at each other.
2 grown men. Mano y mano. Tomlin. Here comes Miles. As usual, Frogs want to run, but they turn it over. Sills in transition. Now a 2-on-1. Coles and one opportunity for TCU.
What a decision by Coles to come down with that.
15:42 to go. TCU a 6-point lead and a chance to add when we come back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business.
There's a dude in the ring getting punched. Are we gonna keep punching or we gonna lay down? I know what we are. We're gonna keep punching, right? We can't play soft. We can't go in there and look for finger rolls and stuff. We gotta go attack these dudes. Y'all understand that?
Yeah, you can play tough. There's a difference between playing tough, and I agree with Jerome Tang. This is that kind of a game. But there's a difference between playing tough and smart. This was upgraded to an F1. Jacoby Coles makes the bucket. He's now going to get 2 free throws, and TCU's going to get the ball back. And that's the right call. That was excessive. The Marquise Noel was not making a play on the basketball, and this is a big play in this game.
So that just became a 4-point play, and now an extra possession for the Horned Frogs. Find themselves up 7. Their largest lead of the game has been 8. Miller. He's got Noel on him. They go Peavy, and he throws it against the back of the backboard.
I mean, if you're Miller, you got Noel on you, you've got to come away with something better than that. I mean, you've got to at least press the action.
Tyke Green from the corner. Offensive rebound. Sills back out. And short again on the three from Marquise Noel. We've seen that a couple times tonight. Miles. Bounce pass, Noel leaves it for Johnson. And are they going to count it?
I don't think so. There was a block, and it's the right call.
So the foul is going to go on Peavy, and it was before the shot.
Yeah, it was on the pass. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely a block, and it was absolutely on the pass.
You heard Jerome Tang in the K-State huddle during that all-access segment, making a lot of comments that have to do with boxing.
What a play.
And we're waiting for Kansas State to make a counterpunch. Maybe that was it.
Well, they went away from that box set they usually run under out of bounds. They went to 4 flat on the baseline and just looped Desi Sills around. What a set, and a great call by Jerome Tang. It's a big bucket. They needed that.
1-on-1, literally and figuratively.
This is a great set, Rich. Jerome Tang runs really good under out of bounds stuff, and they changed the formation, and watch Desi Sills just loops around, and Damian Baugh knew it was coming. He was just a step late, and a really good pass.
So Miles is at the line to shoot a pair. His 15 points is a game high. Came in averaging just over 17 a game. Now Damian Baugh to the bench, and Shahade Wells back up lead guard for Jamie Dixon back on the floor. 2 for 2 for Miles. Noel, 2 feet in the paint, back out to Masood. Johnson for 3. Masood an offensive rebound, but a foul on the floor. We've got you covered on Selection Sunday. It all starts at noon Eastern on ESPN with college basketball live to start the day. At 6, Reese and the guys look at the men's field of 68. Brackets will be announced, followed by bracketology with breakdowns of each region. Then at 8 Eastern, we turn to the women's field of 68 with continuing coverage on ESPNU at 9. And then at 10 o'clock, even more coverage of both brackets. Everything also streaming live on the ESPN app.
What a play by Miles.
And here's Wells at the other end. Short on the lay-in, but O'Bannon is there for the putback.
And a really good follow. I mean, a blown layup, and nice job by Chuck O'Bannon assuming a miss and following the play.
Largest lead of the game for the Frogs, but Noel right back at you. Dribble handoff. Here's O'Bannon. Around and out. Micah Peavy, the offensive rebound. Now Miles for 3. And he looks over at us with a confident glare.
The offensive glass. And Jerome Tang told Chris Budden that at the half. The offensive glass has been huge for TCU.
It's been one of their specialties all season long, and they're cashing in tonight. Noel. Johnson, deep three, and he's got it.
You can't leave Keontae Johnson. Let Marquise Noel take that two-point shot there. You give up a three by chasing.
Haymakers. O'Bannon has an answer.
Wow, what a game. And what a game for Chuck O'Bannon. It's been as good as he has played in some time. With all due respect to the Weather Girls, it is not raining men here in Kansas.
Alongside Chris Patola, Rich Hollenberg, this league is filled with stars, but tonight we've got two in particular on the floor. Mike Miles leads all scorers with 19, and Keontae Johnson has kept the Wildcats in this game with 14, but Kansas State is now down 11 with 11:59 to go. Chris, how do they get back in this game?
Well, they have to shore up their defensive rebounding. You know, the offensive glass has killed them because it's extended TCU possessions. They've scored off of that. It comes down to getting stops, Rich. Anytime you're trying to fight back in a game, it comes down to getting stops. And it'd be nice, you know, Marquise Noel's been a factor. He just hasn't made shots. You'd like to see him knocked down a few here.
Yeah, just 1 for 7 from beyond the arc is Marquise Noel. And we're going the other way. An unforced error by K-State. It'll be TCU basketball looking to add to an 11-point lead when we return.
hours, and that's all set. Brandon swats it away! We're not worthy! Driving floater to win it! Giratano knocks it into next week! Williamson, long three to maybe win it! It's over! Hit it! 2/10 of a second!
Hey, I measure heart. My heart would count, not my height.
Well, that was Davian Williamson a couple of games ago where they beat Syracuse to advance, but then Miami got them by 2. So now, with Clemson up comfortably on NC State, there's a very good chance, Chris Spatola, that it could be chalk all the way through to the semifinals in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, pretty crazy how that's kind of turned out, although it's been a very top-heavy league, you know, pretty much all year, with the exception of Pitt, which has been up there. But, man, what a dominant performance by Duke today in that one.
West Virginia possibly squashing any hope of North Carolina making the NCAA tournament. Here in Kansas City, the final quarterfinal of the night. And it's been an entertaining one, but TCU is up by 11 with the ball. 11.5 to go. There's O'Bannon. 8 to shoot for the Frogs. Miles will. Why not? He's got 22.
He just can't have that kind of space. And if you're, I mean, they were able to work the clock, and you want to stay aggressive, but again, you also want to milk a little clock. To get a 3 at the end of that possession is great if you're TCU.
Noel. Johnson. And Cork, the rebound. One and done.
And you're not going to get it all back in one shot if you're Kansas State.
Back to Peavy. And Johnson comes away with it. Here comes Marquise Noel. Nice bounce pass, and Igiola, the beneficiary.
You know, they've had that a lot, where they get that middle penetration, they get the defender, the back defender to help up, and they throw that bounce pass to the player at the dunker spot.
Now we're under 10 minutes to go. Chuck O'Bannon. What a night for Chuck O'Bannon. He's got 17, a season high.
Well, in this zone that Kansas State has shifted to, they're in a 2-3 zone. It's leaving wide open shooters.
And the floater off the window from Noel.
And I like the timeout for Jerome Tang. You got to figure out what you're doing defensively here, because both of these threes, uncontested. I mean, for Mike Miles to be that open at this point in the game is unacceptable.
And Miles leads all scorers with 22.
And when you don't have a man that you're assigned to when you're in that zone, there's a lack of urgency to get out there. And both of those threes pretty much wide open.
Yeah. This TCU team came into this season preseason number 4 in the Big 12. They made the NCAA tournament last year. And if you remember back, they lost that heartbreaker in overtime to a top seed in Arizona. Chuck O'Bannon had 23 in that game against the Wildcats. So that set the table for this game and this season. And it was a highly anticipated season with so much of that production from last year coming back. They'll go back to the dance back-to-back years for the first time in 70 seasons. But this is a TCU team that is the only current team in the Big 12 that has never made an appearance in the Big 12 championship finals. One's picked off by Cam Carter. And we'll see if that gets the Wildcats going. O'Bannon. Are you kidding me?
As good a game as he's played all season, and a nice job just continuing to move. Came from the other side along the baseline, and there's no question that's a foul. My favorite thing about Chuck O'Bannon, he's got a Maltese Yorkie that he named Hitman. I said to him the other day, I'm like, you can't name a Yorkie Hitman. It's very misleading.
Napoleon complex on that dog. He misses the free throw, but Chuck O'Bannon has 20 tonight. Make it 19 for O'Bannon. That foul's going to go on Keontae Johnson. And that's his 4th.
And it's a bad foul. It's obvious. He extended both hands. Just not smart. I mean, this is easy. That's easy for an official to call.
And you can see the frustration on Marquise Noel. Well, everything going well for TCU. not a good three-point shooting team. As a matter of fact, one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the nation. But they have a season-high tying 10 of them tonight. Eight minutes to go, 7 on the shot clock. Not that time for Miles. Noel has nowhere to go. Baseline, Sills got the foul. Well, Mike Miles hits the deck. He spent a lot of time there, but he's also spent a lot of time getting buckets. Slow to get up, quick to score. Mike Miles leads all scorers with 22, but it'll be the Wildcats going to the free throw line when we come back. Jerome Tang's club needs a lift. Maybe Keontae Johnson's going to give it to him. Chris Patol, a little bit of a scary moment for TCU.
Yeah, that knee that kept Miles out gets stung right there on that play, and it was a hyperextension, the injury he had before. It did not look good.
The good news is, as you can see, Mike Miles is up, not being attended to by a trainer, so he'll take a seat on the bench with his team up 13 with 7:37 to go. The winner of this quarterfinal will face the 2-seed Texas Longhorns in the second semifinal. Desi Sills at the line, shooting 2.
You know, if you're Jerome Tang, I don't know how long you can sit Keontae Johnson with the 4 fouls. I mean, they need points, and they've had a real hard time scoring in the half court. Life's been tough for Marquise Noel. The switching that TCU is doing has limited Noel's movement. You've got to get Johnson, I think, back here in at least a minute or two.
Now Shahade Wells runs the show for the Frogs with Miles on the bench. Bounce pass, Coles. How about that? This is the 6th time these two teams are playing in the Big 12 tournament. They played 4 straight years from 2018 to 2021. K-State won all 4 of those. And now another foul is called on TCU. That's the 4th on Coles. Ty Green at the line, shooting 1-1. Misses the front end. Can't afford to do that.
And you can't afford to do that either.
So now both teams in the bonus as Ish Massoud gets set to check back in. And here comes Keontae Johnson.
Yeah, you can't wait. I mean, they need points, and they've had a hard time finding guys to do that outside of Johnson.
Johnson with 14 to lead the Cats. Sills has 13, but Marquise Noel has been bottled up, just 9 points for one of the top scorers in the Big 12. Ball connects on the first.
You know, sometimes you get guys who get injured, Rich, and it can be a little bit of a blessing if you get those guys back, or at least Mike Miles back, because those other guys filled that void while they were out. You know, Shahade Wells got minutes, Xavier Cork, Jacoby Coles, all those guys lifted their game. And now Miles comes back, looks like he's certainly played well tonight. This team is really good. They are really good, and obviously have postseason DNA coming off of last season.
And now Mike Miles back at the scorers table. Things have gotten awfully quiet inside the T-Mobile Center. Bounce pass, Peavy, and a foul.
I mean, their ball movement has been outstanding. TCU, there really hasn't been, you know, a comfort defensively that Kansas State's been able to find, and it's just the sharing of the basketball. They lead the Big 12 in conference play in assists. TCU does at 16 a game, and they're right there tonight. And it's deflating, you know, you almost have a steal there, you don't come up with it, and a nice cut by Peavy, and it's been like that all night.
Yep. 55.5% assist rate on their made baskets. That's 24th in the country. Peavy 0 for 2 from the stripe. Still plenty of time for the Cats to come back, but not after turnovers like that. Man. Violent collision. Are they going to get Keontae Johnson for the foul? And that is the 5th foul on Keontae Johnson.
And this is, look, it's a foul. I mean, he gets him with the body, whether Johnson thinks he got the ball or not. The fact of the matter is, Jerome Tang puts you in the game for you not to commit that foul. Unfortunately, you've got to give that up because obviously now you're out of the game.
Jerome Tang was stating his case, but to no avail. So Keontae Johnson's night is done. 14 points, 7 rebounds. And a bandage over his left eye for good measure. Peavy makes that one. One for two for Peavy. I guess if there's one thing we shouldn't be surprised about, Chris, it's that there is a fairly large spread in this game. Both times they played earlier this season were fairly blowout victories for each team.
For each home team. Yeah, no question.
Yeah. The big difference when TCU lost in Manhattan, no Mike Miles. Miles is back, and he leads all scorers tonight with 22. Five to shoot. Miller does. Masood the rebound, and Cork fouled him from behind. So Ish Masood will walk the other way and shoot free throws. K-State still in the 1-and-1. And Masood does not go to the free throw line very often, but when he does, usually makes them. He's now 20 for 21 on the season, is Ish Masood. He cans them both, and now Chuck O'Bannon checks back in for Jamie Dixon, who's had nearly a career night in this Big 12 Conference Championship semifinal. A 14-point TCU lead in the basketball. Back door. Miller's got it. And now everything's being called.
Yes, it is.
So Kansas State is now in the double bonus. They'll be shooting 2 the rest of the way.
And that's where, if you're Xavier Cork, again, you're playing against the clock at this point. It's not a smart foul. You don't have to go to the glass in that instance. And it's not easy to turn it off. I get it.
If there's one way to let a team back in the game, it's allow them to score points with no time coming off the clock.
Exactly.
Desi Sills misses that one. That's his first free throw miss tonight. He's 9 for 10 from the line. Countdown to 5 minutes to go. The winner has the Longhorns awaiting them in the semifinals.
Wow.
And why not? Chuck O'Bannon.
And again, an extra pass, ball movement, very good cutting team, and disciplined spacing there by O'Bannon.
O'Bannon's one off his career high. He's got 22 tonight. And Masood. Manhattan, Kansas is about a 2-hour drive from Kansas City. As you would imagine, it is a very pro-Wildcat crowd here inside the T-Mobile Center, but the air has been sucked out of the building by the TCU Horned Frogs tonight. Off the window, Damian Baugh.
And it's coming from all sides.
Noel, high off the glass.
Kansas State just hasn't been able to get stops. You know, they've had to fight to score on one end, and they haven't been able to get stops.
Baugh again, offensive rebound, Cork, and the putback. That's 25 second chance points from the Frogs. Chris, if the Wildcats are going to have success in the NCAA tournament, what do we need to see differently than we saw tonight?
Well, they got to take much better care of the basketball. They've got to do a much better job on the glass. And I think the one thing you benefit from is teams in the tournament have not seen Marquise Noel.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. And now for tonight's Player of the Game, brought to you by Phillips 66. Not Mike Miles Jr., but Chuck O'Bannon Jr.
It's got to be this guy tonight, man. His Maltese Yorkie hitman got to be enjoying this, because he has been a hitman all night from deep. One of his best games in a while, Rich. This is a Chuck O'Bannon who has not shot it well from three, not just this season, really the last couple years. He has been on fire tonight. And this is a TCU team that has been one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country, shooting just 29% from three on the year as a team. How about tonight and the job they've done?
12th worst in the nation in three-point percentage, and yet you look at the numbers, they are 50% from three-point range. A season high 11 three-pointers made against this K-State defense. Baugh with 5 on the shot clock. And those, when they're going in, that makes Kansas State as dangerous a team as anybody in the country, but they haven't gone in tonight. Naquan Tomlin has his second 3 of the night. And that right there is the epitome of Kansas State's struggles. Naquan Tomlin has more 3-pointers than Marquise Noel.
Well said.
Now Miller. So TCU will advance to play Texas in one of 2 semifinals. And if you remember, the first time those 2 teams got together in Austin, TCU had an 18-point lead that Texas came all the way back from and won.
Yeah, that was a heck of a win for Texas. And again, they are much better in the Moody Center. I think the energy in that building certainly helped them in the second half. And then you turn around, and that game in Fort Worth was really dominated by TCU's defense, and Damian Ball had himself a night in that one.
Yep. Frogs won that game by 2. So we're expecting 2 outstanding semifinals tomorrow night. Kansas, Iowa State, Texas, and TCU. Both of those games will be on ESPN tomorrow. And for Kansas State, you go home, you get some rest and man-happiness, and you wait to find out where you're traveling next for the NCAA tournament. Chuck O'Bannon's night is done. 22 points. And it's academic at this point. 1:15 to go. TCU team that has faced its share of adversity this season, losing Mike Miles for essentially 5 games in the middle of the season. They went 1-4 in those games, but they've rebounded. Came into this tournament as the 6th seed. Had to deal with the media asking questions over the departure of big man Eddie Lampkin. And yet here they are tonight against one of the better teams in the country. A team that's been in the top 15 most of this season, and they handled them fairly easily. And now Marquise Noel will check out for the final time in Big 12 play. Gets a big hug from his coach, Jerome Tang.
Tough night for Noel. I think he'll be happy to see different competition outside the Big 12.
Shot clock is off, 25 seconds to go. Kansas State managed a school record 7 top 25 wins, but they will not get an 8th tonight. The Wildcats will drop to 23-9 overall, and TCU will improve to 21-11. It's their 3rd semifinal appearance in the Big 12 championship tournament, but they are the only team